Welcome guys to another episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood. I would like to formally thank all of you plus 3,000 subscribers for subscribing to our channel. Thank you for the support, thank you for viewing our videos, thank you for commenting, thank you for sharing the content that we create. This track that is underlying, that's playing here in the background, this is one of our most talented, colored, lyrically creative writers. You know, he doesn't qualify to be called a rapper because I believe he's something beyond being a rapper. He's a true storyteller. He goes by the name of Nicotine Long, so I'll be linking his YouTube channel in the description, so please go follow, like and subscribe what he does, and support the brother as well. So hopefully he can get recognized and also pursue or achieve, rather I should say, his dreams, his vision for sharing the stories in a manner and ways that he tells it. And I think it's because he is one of the rare, most, how can I put it, the storytellers who only spit facts, who only wants to tell the truth, and thus the industry is not going to recognize him because they have a certain narrative to push, portraying us as colored people in general as gangsters, drugs addicts and drug dealers, and all of these negative connotations attached to the identification, or should I say classification, of colored. So yeah, he's one of those rappers who only speaks truth. So I would implore that you go and check out his work, but without any further ado, let's continue with this video. So basically this video is just to react upon a maiden speech done by a parliamentary member of the Western Cape Parliament, NCC member Duwayne Jacobs. Very powerful speech. Also another person, very talented, very great storyteller, very remarkable man, I should say, and one I can say he is a role model for the general colored community, especially young men. And he is one of those people who also is very skillful and creative in his writing. But this particular speech, let's look at it, let's look at what he speaks about. I haven't seen any footage yet as a response to what the Honorable Duwayne Jacobs mentioned in his speech. So therefore another, I can say another one of those whereby people who speak truth are not going to get the proper ear and be heard. They are heard, but they are not listened to. And I'm gonna assume you understand the difference between the two, because to hear somebody and to listen to somebody, it's two totally different things. So yeah, these are the type of figures that mainstream media and the industry do not want to promote, because it's going to pull down the curtain and open a lot of our people's eyes. But without any further ado, let's react on the councillor's speech.
Jacobs, who is also delivering his maiden speech.
Thank you. Greetings to all. I greet you all in the name of the Most High. Ayesa, Amase. Mr. Premier, I stand before this chamber as a humble son of the Cape Flats, where I still reside to this day. Premier, your address to this house was well framed.
Let's just look at that for a moment. that just that particular statement the honorable members made. How many of these members of parliament that came into this prominent positions do still reside in the areas where they resided prior to becoming members of parliament? And this is where our government has greatly failed the community, because they get into that prominent position, getting access to that kind of financial access, then move out of their communities to better communities and forget about the people they serve, the people that put them in that position of having the honor to serve the people, and end up not serving the people at all. Instead, they are there to represent the interest of white monopoly capital. Let's just listen one more time.
I'll note the Honorable Jacobs, who is also delivering his maiden speech.
Thank you. Greetings to all. I greet you all in the name of the Most High. Kayesa, Amase. Mr. Premier, I stand before this chamber as a humble son of the Cape Flats, where I still reside to this day. Premier, your address to this house was well framed, yet it was lacking in both truth and context.
Don't you guys experience that, especially when leaders like President Ramaphosa, Premier Allen Winde, John Steenhuisen, when these people make speeches, it is well framed, well articulated, but it really lacks context in terms of what the needs of the people, the everyday people on the ground is, and it lacks truth, because they speak nothing to the needs of the people, because they are there to represent the interest of white monopoly capital.
I've been deployed to this august house, Mr. Premier, to tell the colored truth. It is my intention to tell the truth and nothing else. Mr. Premier, I did not come here to fight. I came here for the overdue accountability owed to the now deceased coloureds and those who are yet to be born in this oppression. It is my intention to ask some questions, state simple facts, and expect no transparency truth in response. This is how this administration deals with my people, is it not? Why, Honoured Premier, was no apology offered to the coloured community for your government's lameful handling of the gang wars raising on the coloured community? Why, Honoured Premier, was no apology offered to the coloured child for the abuse of its education monies in excess of 1 billion rand of it?
Again, with regards to the statement that the Premier made last year, or not last year rather, I would say before the elections, about taking 1 billion rand from the Department of Education and Department of Health to invest into safety and security while the crime rate is still going up. How in the gazillion, fazillion, banillion does that make any sense? Where did the monies go? And yet they still in their speeches talk about equipping us with high sophisticated technologies for our security and all this, special cameras and sound detectors here and there, but our people are still dying. And very little of these people who perpetrate these acts are brought to justice, because how weak this national government and this provincial government in the Western Cape is. And again, this is one other thing that I want to mention that seems to me people do not, I don't know whether they do not know about it or being aware of it, or are they aware of it just ignoring it because it's to their benefit to ignore it. Because the point I'm trying to make is to say that when Helen Ziller says that there are no qualified colored people there are not enough highly skilled qualified colored people to be in managerial positions. How can it be that we have matriculants as parliamentary members, but then we can't have matriculants being colored in the same position, in managerial positions? Furthermore, with them taking away money from the education budget, to me, it's clearly a plot to keep on disenfranchising the colored and black child in this country, preventing them from having proper adequate access to education. One of the ways they are doing it is by this online application process. I'm not sure how other provinces do it, but here in the Western Cape, we need to apply online for our grade 1s, grade R's and grade 8 learners. And that system, ever since it started, has been a nightmare, because the idea there is to prevent mostly colored children from attending schools where they reside. So they must travel, take a bus, take a taxi, whatever, and make it difficult for them to access school. And if they do manage to get into school, they do manage to finish primary school, we have a situation whereby we have 5 to 6 times more primary schools than high schools. So even if all our children finishes primary school, there is not enough high schools to accommodate all of them. Because in Mitchell's Plain alone, for example, I think there's something like about 48 primary schools in relation to about 16 to 18 high schools. Now you tell me, if all those children in primary school finish school in those 48 schools, where are they gonna get accommodated in high school if there's only about less than 20? I'm not sure if it's 18 or 19, or even say less than 30 to be modest. Where are they going to get accommodation into school? And even if some of them get into school, they finish matric, now they have another obstacle, which is the intake policy at the university. So how can we be at fault for not being able to attain qualify a quality education and qualifications through our education? And this is something that I'm going to touch on again and show you how it is their intention to do that, and still blame us for not being able to overcome these obstacles, because it's all part of the plan. But that I will address in another video with evidence from the horse's mouth. And I think most of you already saw that video, because it's already an old video. It went viral in 2022, so most of you already are familiar with that, but we're still gonna share that video, still react on it, so that more people who haven't seen it can see what we are talking about. Because there are even still colored people that tell us, yeah, it's what we make of it, but they don't realize the system is designed against our prosperity, not for our prosperity. And they don't realize that they are being used as pawns to fight against those of us who want to wake them up to the reality of the plans of this government, or not government, white monopoly capitalists, the people who own the economy, not just in South Africa, in the world. That's how big this thing is. But let's continue.
Mr. Premier, Why was no apology offered to the elderly coloureds, those who were evicted from their ancestral land, whose heritage is still being sold by the Democratic Alliance as if apartheid never ended? And the truth is, apartheid has never ended in this province. In fact, under
Apartheid has never ended. And one of the evidences is that they haven't fixed this apartheid spatial planning situation. We are still the most segregated province in this country. You get a majority colored area, a majority black area, and a majority white area. We are not integrated like all the other provinces where there is no clear majority. But here, we are clearly divided. Coloreds go here, blacks go there, whites go there. And whites are always where the lavish green blue skies, lavish green grass, and blue skies are, with recreational facilities and skill building facilities to develop the people. They have access to whatever is needed for proper development of a human being, whereas black and colored communities in general, we are lacking of the basic services such as education, such as clean water and sanitation, which is a basic human right according to our constitution in this country. And it's a very, very sad situation.
Your administration, brown is the new black. Premier, we concur that the budget cuts implemented due to your coalition partners, the ANC's woeful managing of this country's fiscus, will not make improving anything any easier. But take us into your confidence and explain to us why this government won't spend monies available in the colored communities, even when spending it, it's easier than retaining it.
Very good question. And specifically to the situation of housing, right? How can it be that our local government, the city of Cape Town, run by the Democratic Alliance, is able to do more evictions than they are providing housing? Why is the city of Cape Town being run like a business? Are they not there? Are they not there supposed to serve and make sure the people get the basic needs to just to live, to survive? Instead, they are busy with gentrification, trying to get people out of prime land, as if taking Stellenbosch wasn't enough. Now they want to take places like the Boerkaap, like Salt River, in Shelley Road, and so forth. How can it be that you as a government that is there supposed to make sure the people have dignified living, put people out on the street more than you help them? You are not for the people. You are not working for the people in that regard. Please, people, wake up. Stop voting for these Democratic Alliance. Let's continue.
As a simple example, the Menenberg School of Skills was supposed to be built in 2017, but this DA administration of yours refused to award the tender to a colored woman, choosing to unlawfully award it to Hoorn Ingalls, a company which is not only white-owned, but is all...
Another example whereby the DA goes against its own procurement policies just to give a white-owned company the upper hand above a colored-owned company. A colored-owned company who won the tender, and as the court ruled, the DA was supposed to give the contract to the rightful winner of the tender. And the DA to date hasn't done that through the city of Cape Town. They haven't done that. Why is it that it's okay? We know why it is, and we need to stop with these rhetorical questions. And I'm gonna tell you why it is. Like I said, it is part of the plan to disempower us, prevent us from reaching and ascertaining the wealth that they have, and preventing us to build our generational wealth.
Also known to empower gang bosses without tax money. Your government has wasted millions in legal fees to the aggrieved coloured contractor, yet Menenberg has no school of skills. In 2023, Judge Slingers of the Cape High Court ordered this government to right its supply chain management wrongs regarding the Menenberg School of Skills. To this day, this government is in contempt of court.
And have we seen the courts doing anything about it? Did we see how easy they want to put Zuma in prison for contempt of court because he didn't want to attend one of the court hearings that he was supposed to attend for whatever was related to state capture? Here, the court ordered the DA to rectify the wrongs they did, and they haven't done so, which means they are in contempt of court. But no pursuit for justice, for rectification, no pressure is being put on them by the courts. And that is when we say that this is a two-tier system, whereby there is a legal system for us, the ordinary folks, the slaves, and then a legal system for our masters. And this is what we experience also in the workplace, because this is what I experienced in a government workplace where I used to be employed. And one of the reasons I decided to resign and fight the system, because I was not going to be able to fight it from the inside, I had to come out and start from the top. And this is just one of the methods. I'm empowering myself and empowering others who are like-minded to do the same, so that we as the people of this country can be the people to run the country. You understand? It is for us to run. It has to be run for the people, by the people, and the people currently are not running the government. White monopoly, capital does.
Mr. Premier, in light of all the social ills in the coloured community, please explain to us why you deny our children the opportunity to upskill, live better, and perhaps live longer. In light of the evidence presented here, will you, Mr. Premier, take a public stand against the officials who break our laws and pass the legal bill to the taxpayer? Premier, will you account for the GF Worcester Hospital closed by the Democratic Alliance? Can we quantify the hours of pain and frustration suffered by the poor, the elderly, and the disabled, as years of empty promises of a replacement hospital has become nothing but an illusion? And Mr. Premier, I think this House can concur that the answer is no. I want to know, has any other community been targeted for the pain, suffering, and gutter education like mine has? Premier, listen carefully.
And I want people to really understand that term, gutter education, because if you haven't noticed yet, our curriculum is not aligned with our economic situation in our country, because in our country our economy thrives on the banking system, it thrives on mineral resources, mining, etc. And these are not the type of subjects we get in our primary schools. We get subjects that are totally unrelated to what our economy is all about. And in that particular video I made reference to, this guy explains how it's all part of their plan. Like I said, you will hear it from the horse's mouth. But let's continue.
Tonight, 10 of our sons will die on the Cape flights alone. In light of the fact that the current safety plan is ineffective, what is the plan to what is the plan to ensure the safety of my people? Is the release of our ancestral lands on the agenda? Will you address the forceful removals and the Group Area Acts, or will you continue to sell our rights to the wealthy?
And again, this is again not a comparison, but it's purely just me highlighting an observation. If I look at the stance or statement, question, however you want to put it, that the Honorable Duwayne Jacobs just made, is to ask, will the return of the land be on the agenda of our Indigenous people, the rightful owners of this land? And then you look at someone like Mr. Gayton McKenzie. Do you hear Mr. McKenzie ever speak about land expropriation without compensation? But Mr. McKenzie wants to talk about recognizing the Khoisan San, giving them statues. He wants to give them superficial stuff that means nothing, that will not help them to start their generational wealth. Because, like I said, it is all part of the agenda. And there's a video also going viral about this GNU that was discussed in a meeting in Poland 2023 already, in June, July 2023. So long before we had even our elections, they already decided there will be a government of national unity and who will take part in it. It was just a formality to have these elections and to invite parties to the GNU, whereas they knew that these people would reject working with the opposition because the policies are totally opposite. So how can a party that is for minimum wage work together with the party that is against minimum wage? How are they going to ever see eye to eye? What will be the compromise there? They will compromise our rights. That's all they will do, and secure their interest.
Now, it is very sad to see after 30 years of democracy in this Western Cape Provincial Parliament, you don't have one small little item that resembles the Khoi, the San and the Bushman whose genocide was committed right here in this province. Skam julle.
Another fact spit there, just right there. Nothing in that parliament resembles anything about the indigenous people of this land. Everything there is just Roman Dutch, a culture and identity that is not from this land. It is foreign to us, but it is imposed on us and we must accept it as our own. And that is even something that's not taught in schools.
But this oppressing government knows this. Mr. Premier, with all due respect, this is not 2019. Our colored people will not be open to an abuser for another term. The NCC will make sure this won't happen again. Amase, I thank you.
Amase. The NCC together with all of us in the Progressive Caucus. Progressive Caucus being the National Colored Congress, the Economic Freedom Fighters, the Contextualizing Party, the United African Transformation Movement, the African Transformation Movement, ATM. All of these parties in the Progressive Caucus, together with us, we will not allow this GNU to come and take away what rightfully belongs to us. And as the Right Honorable Member just articulated, that we will not stand for that again, this abusive relationship. You come to our place, you garner for our votes, we give you our votes, and you take away our rights, our wealth, our resources, our livelihoods. This will not happen again. And thanks again for staying tuned to another episode of Wake Us Up in the Hood. Like, share, subscribe. See you on the next one. Peace.